In today's video, I'm going to be designing a series of cocktails based around video games I've recently played. Themed food and drinks are always so cool to look at, plus it's a fun exercise to design something using references from each universe, figuring out how the visuals can be translated in different ways. The video games on today's list are Journey, In a Dream Barbecue, and lastly OuterWilds. These designs won't necessarily be the most practical in reality, but I'm focusing on creating visually interesting drinks, along with crafting an experience. That means it's not just the drink design I'll be drawing, it's all accompanying elements such as coasters, napkins, decoration, and little bites to eat. I decided to begin with Journey. It's a beautiful short experience which has some of the prettiest looking visuals I've seen in a game. There were lots of aspects to the world which I thought would work perfectly for a themed drink. For the foundation of the cocktail, I was drawn to the golden cascading sand that you ride down, which was the highlight of the game for me. It got me thinking along the lines of an espresso martini type drink, perhaps with a sprinkling of golden powder on top to create the sand effect. There are a lot of these carved stones dotted around the different locations you traverse through, and they felt visually distinctive in the world. I thought these long ones would make a good biscuit, maybe with red ribbon tied around and to match the red fabric seen throughout the game. I completed an initial design and might have got ahead of myself with rendering it too quickly, but something was bugging me a little bit about the design. There was nothing necessarily wrong with it, I actually felt it had a nice, elegant look to it. It's just that to me, video games with distinct aesthetics are always about pushing the designs as far as you can, and you want the themed food and drink to look like it came from that world. There was more that could be done here. I created a second design based on the underdepths of the game world, and I felt this one looked more fun and themed to the world in its own unique presentation. I went back through my game footage and thought again about what I could do to push my first design. A prominent aspect of this game, which I didn't know until I started playing, was that it's multiplayer. It's not essential for beating the game, but it's an important symbolic part of the narrative, so I wanted to try and bring that into my cocktail design. I thought maybe it could be a sharing board for 2 people, 2 drinks, and a range of themed treats to have alongside. This felt more on theme with the game, and like a fun experience to share with a friend or loved one. Plus, who doesn't love a little themed sweet treat with their drinks? It's nothing groundbreaking, I just decided on little cakes which I thought could be shaped and decorated to resemble the large checkpoint stones, and strawberries which can be dipped into melted chocolate coated with gold to match the distinguishing colour palette of the playable character. So I had the daiquiri depth themed on the blue underworld of Journey, and the dream duo with a sharing board of sweet bites and little sippy drinks. All for the low price of $15.99. No, that is not unreasonable. Look, I need to make a profit somewhere. All of this custom made stuff is expensive. All that aside, next I moved on to In a Dream Barbecue. The direction of these drinks felt the easiest to decide on, energetic and vibrant. The game has so many unique visuals and eye-catching designs, so there was a lot to choose from. Almost too much. I probably would have had a much harder time with this section if I hadn't already had a few ideas in mind. Like a moth to a flame, I was immediately drawn to the pink waterfalls that start cascading down whilst in the Purge event. It was such a pleasing colour to me, and I could see this working very nicely as the cocktail drink. It looks like it would be some kind of bubblegum flavour perhaps. I did briefly consider the sea of red at the starting area with legs poking out like synchronized swimmers, but this didn't feel as appealing to me compared to the vibrant pink. But one thing I knew for certain, I had to use the massive floating eyeball in the sky. Incorporating a large eyeball candy, maybe a marshmallow or gummy eyeball, worked for the sweet tooth cocktail I was making. Straws can be a good accompanying element to cocktails, depending on what type of drink it is. Even if the consumer doesn't drink through the straw, it can be used as a stirrer to keep the drink blended together. I wasn't sure if I should add a straw to this one, as I didn't know if it was essential, but a crazy straw works so well for the overall theme, and I felt it was a nice touch. Gives that party vibe I was intending to capture. Another visual I really wanted to incorporate somewhere into this drink was coins. There's characters like Kane, who is made up partly of coins, and chocolate coins that can be earned through one of the side jobs. There's this scene where Kane's head becomes a bowl with coins falling into it, so the visual kind of already landed right into my hands for this. I briefly contemplated using Kane's head as the main cup design, but ended up using the patterning on the mayonnaise jar, which I felt was just as distinctive, and keeping Kane to being the container to hold the chocolate coins. Pitchers are pretty popular amongst large groups in a bar or restaurant, and since this is a party-themed drink, I thought it should cater to large parties of people as well. The smoke machine from the game already had the look I was going for with a handle and spout, so the design for the main pitcher container was already decided on. The only thing with this is that the ice won't pour out with the cocktail, but I'll throw in a complimentary ice bucket. A feature I felt would tie the whole design together was presenting the drink with a small poster, displaying the drink in the style of the posters you see in the game every time you acquire an item. I was pleased with the simplified design of the drink, and I felt it fitted into the world. It just adds that extra level of immersion which fans of the game would appreciate, and it's just nice that attention to detail doesn't usually go unnoticed. Lastly, I will be looking at OuterWilds. I recently played this game and it is super good. The art direction of this game was beautiful, so there was a lot of visuals to pick from for the themed cocktails. Immediate idea that popped into my head was a marshmallow s'more type cocktail. One of the first things you can do in the game is roast marshmallows over a campfire, or burn it into smithereens, and it really captures the cozy atmosphere of the game. Well, at least when you're not contemplating the terrors of space exploration. So I knew the first cocktail would be focused around a campfire marshmallow theme, made as a dessert cocktail. I then sketched out a few different ideas, pulling a few interesting visuals from the game that are distinctive and recognisable, and in the end I felt I had 3 different sketches I wanted to bring to the development table. One for the campfire, one themed around the nomai tech and quantum shards found throughout the game, and one designed around the dark bramble seeds, as I thought these plants would make a great decoration on top of a drink. There were other structures and architecture I saw throughout the game which I could see working well as accompanying elements for the cups. These tall swirling towers I could see hugging the outside of a tall glass, and these smaller details on the doors and walls that were potentials for another cup design and a coaster I wanted to incorporate for at least one of the drinks. I think the most fiddly part was rendering the flame I wanted for the Timber S'more cocktail. I got it to a point I was happy with, and it's not supposed to be truly realistic, just a visualization of what the cocktail would look like. It did capture that cozy campfire aesthetic I was going for, even if you do have to extinguish the flame before drinking. The Quantum Concoction is a nice purple drink. I'm not too sure what the flavour would actually be, but probably something sweet and fruity. I don't actually know what the shards would be made of. Probably some kind of shaped caramel with food colouring maybe, hard to say. And lastly, the bramble drink. I was really happy with the decoration on top. It would probably be made with one of those edible flowers that you can have on cakes, with a type of blueberry blackberry syrup added to the top for the bramble part of the seed. Overall, really pleased with this last section, and side note, OuterWilds is an incredible game and I highly recommend playing it if you haven't before. I was more happy than I thought I'd be with these finished products. Usually I have a lot of fun when it comes to the conceptualizing and sketching phase, but rendering the final design normally leaves me feeling a little unsure of how the overall look is. My main goal was for these drinks to be recognisable as being from these video games, and I feel like I achieved that. I like all the designs, especially the look of the Dream barbecue drink, but my eye is particularly drawn to the OuterWild ones. The detailing on the bramble cup was a favourite of mine to do. Slightly fiddly to get the patterning as accurate as I could, but overall it's a really nice aesthetically. So altogether that's 1 Dream Duo, 2 Daiquiri Depths, 3 Purge Events, 5 Timber S'mores, 1 Quantum Concoction and 2 Bramble Smashes. Your total comes to $2.42. But there's also an additional service charge, so the final total comes to $2.70. So how would you like to pay?